John, then just looking back at the international rugby that we last got, which was obviously the World Cup, and you were there. And recently I saw an article where Frans Steyn mentioned that the first time in that final that he got emotional was when he actually saw you on the sidelines and reflected on how different it was in 2007 and how far he'd come. Just tell me about your experience at the World Cup. Obviously, you were there as well. You were on the field at the end of the game. How special was that time? What were some of the things that really stood out for you?
Yeah, it's quite surreal being at a final and being so close. I mean, when you're part of a broadcasting company and you get the access that you get, it's sort of like as close to playing in another final as you were 12 years ago. So when Francie did come past, it was a surreal moment because this was the kid that played with us and kicked the winning kick over in the final in 2007. So yeah, it was quite a special moment and very emotional, an unexpected moment. And we actually discussed it yesterday on a Zoom interview with Francie actually. And he went from this young, long-haired, carefree 18-year-old to the mentor / experienced impact player that covered pretty much every position in the team 12 years later. So yeah, Tokyo was special. And I think because there was very little doubt in anyone who was English's mind that this was going to be won by England, and convincingly so. I mean, I loved it. On the Tuesday, I got sent an email from a friend who lives in England, who's registered to the supporters club of the RFU, and there was an email that read, "With England likely to win the World Cup final on Saturday, you should get your Six Nations packages now." And I thought, wow, that is an incredible email to send like 5 days before the final. And it was sort of at that moment I thought, okay, this team, if our team goes in there with a mental approach and understands the magnanimity of what they could possibly do for an entire nation, this could actually end up in quite a good day for South Africa. And then the stars just aligned, we started like a house on fire. The physicality, the dominance, Sinclair going down in the first few minutes, just further magnified our dominance up in the set piece. The energy just kept coming, and it was going to be hard to stop for anyone. And it was hard for England to match that energy because they just didn't. I think they hadn't prepared for a South African side to come out like that. And I can tell you right now, I've watched some stressful test matches because you only stress about test matches after you've retired and you start becoming a fan and a spectator. But I've watched some stressful test matches. There was very little stress in that test match for a South African fan. It looked like it was our game from the start till the end, and it was wonderful to be able to watch it in the stands. I was with my best mate in the stands, drinking a Heineken, and it was a magical 80 minutes, watching our two legendary wingers scores, tries, watching those scrums demolish the English. For me, it was an absolute privilege to be able to bear witness to it live. And I think you know just as much as I how much of an effect it had in '95 and 2007. And watching these guys on the Kentucky tour on the bus, and I mean, South Africa just needed it. It was the right time, and I really hope that this group, which is a phenomenal group under Rassie and Jacques, can continue.
Definitely. And John, just talking about the final, I mean, I think a lot of it, the foundation was laid with that performance at the scrum time. Just reflecting on, you obviously know Beast extremely well. I mean, just the way his career ended on that note, and just looking at the hookers and the fact that throughout that World Cup they had this ability to dovetail Marx with Mbonambi. I mean, how beneficial do you think it was to have two world-class hookers, almost nothing to separate between them, being able to play plus minus 40 minutes each?
Man, it was probably one of the best scenarios Rassie could have hoped for. And it's amazing. A year before, Beast was pretty battling to hold on to the squad, let alone a starting berth. And something that Rassie did obviously must have lit another fire within Beast. And we saw some of the best of his rugby in that final season of his, especially culminating in Japan. So the performance he put in there, I think the last time we saw something like it was probably the Lions in 2009. And if ever there was a time to rekindle that fire, it was last year, because the combination of him and Bongi was phenomenal. And you look at that and you think, man, having to start a game facing that, and then you got the Ginger and Malcolm Marx, who in their right could start for any other country in the world any day of the week, and as well as South Africa. It's hard to combat that, I think, for any team, to be fair.
Mm. And John, my final question is just looking at the next step for the Springboks. I mean, Rassie and Jacques Nienaber have spoken a lot about the fact that they want this to be a period of extended success. So, I mean, this lockdown's probably been very frustrating in that the whole first year as world champions been a bit disrupted. But for you, I mean, you were obviously part of the winning squad in 2007. And then there were certain changes that came in, a different coach. But the Boks do seem to have maintained a little bit more stability with their coaching group, and probably the personnel is not going to change all that much, because a large group of that World Cup winning squad are quite young. Do you think the foundations are there to have a period of another 4 years of success and start matching the All Blacks with that consistency in success, you know?
I certainly do think so, and I guess by default or by design, I'm not sure. But I mean, it's very difficult for any South African coach to last more than a 4-year tenure. So maybe the trick was to actually get Rassie in just before the World Cup, so that he wouldn't have to move on after that. So, and I also think that the change in him becoming a director and Jacques coming in, which is actually, from a structural point of view, going to help the game in general in South Africa, but still keep Rassie with the team, and Jacques, who's, I guess, a disciple and of Rassie's way of coaching. So the team has got bought into Rassie, they've bought into Jacques. This is probably the best chance we've got of having a nice 4-year period, rather than this roller coaster that South Africa loves to go on in terms of coaches and players and form. So they are well set up for some constant success in the next 4 years.
Yeah, let's hope so. John, thanks so much for making time and all the good work you're doing, and it was great to catch up, and keep well.
Sure, anytime, Craig. Go well.